Okay, so I'm recording this open office hours with Pat Boyle from Alpha-Stim. He's going to talk to us about this wonderful product that we have been using in our office since fall of 21, so it will be about 4 years. We have seen great success with it, but he is a gentleman that knows it so much better than we could ever know it. So, welcome, Pat, and I'll let him go on from there.
Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, my name is Pat Boyle. I'm with Alpha-Stim. I've been with Alpha-Stim for 10 years. So been here a long time, seen a lot. And Mary has been kind enough to submit some questions. So I'm going to start with a couple of questions. And then I have some things also that I will be sharing via Zoom with the group. So the first one was, can you talk a little bit about Alpha-Stim? Tell us what it is and how it works and what inspired the development of the technology. So, Alpha-Stim is a neuromodulation microcurrent device, and it was started by a researcher by the name of Daniel Kirsch, and he started working on this because he was looking for an alternative to help with anxiety to medication. And it's been FDA cleared for 28 years, 28, 29 years. And it's used extensively by the DoD, United States military, and the VA. I do a lot of work with veterans that come back and that are dealing with a lot of issues. We even have a video that I'd like to share if we have time later. It's by Dakota Meyer. Dakota Meyer is a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient for something that happened in Afghanistan. And he talks about it, so I'll let him talk about it. It's just a 3 minute video. It's pretty quick, but Mary did ask me for some testimonials. Applications for anxiety, or for Alpha-Stim, excuse me. It works for anxiety, insomnia, and pain. And the other thing that's important that I like to mention right now is that this device is sold, well, we sell it with a money back guarantee. So it's one of the few medical devices with it. Now, Mary, I'm not sure. Do you guys buy wholesale, sell retail through the clinic, or do you have them come to me? You do. So if you do that, that's up to their clinic whether they want to do that. But very few medical devices out there come with a money back guarantee. We do take 10% for anybody that buys it and uses it that wants their money back, and I have refunded people's money. So let's talk about efficacy. It works about 83, 85% of the time. Nothing is 100%. There are people, for whatever reason, we don't know, that it didn't work for or it doesn't work for, but it's very, very minor. And the people it does work for, the results have been, I'll try not to oversell it, but I think dramatic. And I've seen it work, help people with anxiety and insomnia. And I tell people the really important thing is it doesn't really, I have data. We've got 115 clinical papers that have been done on it. I can show you a couple of clinical papers, but what really matters is it doesn't matter what I say. What matters is what patients say after they get a chance to try it. And it goes with using ear clips that we put on people's ears. And the reason for that is because we're using the eighth cranial nerve as an access point to get into the brain. Once the uh, once the electricity gets into the brain, we now know it goes everywhere, and it affects, without getting too technical, cortical oscillations in the default mode network. Just put ear clips on like this and plug into the device. So I've got a device with me in case somebody comes up, has any questions. And can everybody still see me? Looks like I've got somebody else now.
Yes, I can see you.
Okay, has everybody still got me? Um, what's this typical Alpha-Stim treatment look like? Typical Alpha-Stim treatment is about 20 minutes, somewhere between 20 minutes and 40 minutes. So here's the device. Happens to be an M. We have, it can, so if you get to, I'll just push this up. If you get to 2.5, which is 5 bars on the intensity, then that means that you'll get a full dose in 20 minutes. If you get to 4 bars or 2, it takes 40 minutes, and anything less than 2 is an hour. What we're learning and what we've seen is a lower intensity for a longer period of time may be more therapeutic. So I tell people in the beginning, try it a little higher, try it a little lower, and you'll kind of find where it works best for you. If you do get to feeling a little bit dizzy, or you get that spaciness feeling, people describe it different ways. Um, you want to turn it down. We don't want you feeling that. I do have people that use it at really high levels, and it's not necessary for you to feel it. That's really, really important. And if you should get, let's talk about side effects real quick. Side effect could be a slight headache, or people will get a little bit of can get skin irritation from the conducting solution. The reason we use conducting solution is because skin has a natural impediment to electricity. And so we use conducting solution to jump the impedance and get the signal in. We're using small amounts of electricity as compared to something like TENS, which uses exponentially more than we do. So it's all about mimicking the electrical signal in the brain. 97% of what happens in the brain happens electrically. We know that the heart works off of electricity. We are electrical beings. The other thing that's important is for people to realize that hydration and staying well hydrated with electrolytes being sodium, magnesium, and potassium, they do improve a patient or a person's ability to conduct electricity throughout the body. So electrolytes being everything from Gatorade. There's another company that I believe in. It's called LMNT, and it's a really good electrolyte. So you want to make sure that if you're not getting the desired results, that you get hydrated, stay hydrated, and you may or may not want to use some electrolytes. Mary, do you still have me? Has everybody got me still?
I still have you.
Okay, good. Um, let's let me do this. Let's share something. So everybody in this space lost the ability to say that you can use Alpha-Stim on depression. That was an FDA ruling because they didn't like the studies. They didn't like they didn't like what was being they didn't like the data. So I'm going to scroll this down a little bit. I hope everybody can see this. This is a press release that was done. See if I can slide this over a little bit. Um, by a company out of Durham, North Carolina, that I introduced EPI to. It's called Pulvinar Neuro. It was started at UNC, and there's a Center for Neurostimulation at UNC. Dr. Flavio Froelich, he heads that up. He started Pulvinar Neuro. We bought Pulvinar Neuro. The reason I want to show this is because they were granted FDA grants breakthrough device designation. This is something new. It's closed loop transcranial alternating current stimulation to treat major depressive disorders. It's not clinically available yet. It's still being worked on. But if you'll notice right here, this is kind of a big deal. I'm trying not to highlight everything, but it says in the clinical trials, in August, the American Journal of Psychiatry demonstrated significant reduction in symptom severity among participants with MDD being major depressive disorder. Notably, 80% of participants were assessed to be free of clinical depression symptoms 2 weeks post-treatment by a psychiatrist. And as Mary said when I shared that with her, that's a big deal. It's not available yet. We don't know when it's going to be available because it's still in clinical trials. And so it takes a while to get through clinical trials. You have to, you got to be double blind, placebo controlled, and then the data has to be peer reviewed. So we're in the process of all of that, but we're going to be one of the first companies to be able to say that, and it's coming. So neuromodulation is a big space. There's other companies out there. I respect most of them. I'll talk about two real quickly, just because I want you to understand that there's other companies that are doing other things. There's a company called Lenire, Lenire. They treat tinnitus. We also have a protocol for tinnitus, but it works about 50% of the time. Lenire is indicated for tinnitus. And the reason I mention that is because it shows how this space using electricity and neuromodulation is expanding. And you do have to go through an audiologist. The device is tuned. They use what's called dual modal stimulation. So they not only do they stimulate patients on the ears, they put what they refer to as a spoon in the person's mouth. It stimulates two areas of the brain. And after about 10 to 12 weeks of treatment, patients are reporting that they have no tinnitus. So big deal. I'll let you look into it. Anyways, it's just one more company that's out there that's doing things. There's another company called Cognito out of Boston that was started by a PhD from MIT and a PhD from Harvard. They're in third stage clinical trials right now, working to treat Alzheimer's and working after that for Parkinson's and then MS. So this technology is being used, and it's being, there's other people. They also use light, glasses that flash light. So they're using neuromodulation and light. But lots of companies out there, some of them are really good competitors. It's just a big field. It's growing rapidly. New people are coming into the space. And few people have been around as long as we have. Few people have as much clinical data as we do. Let me share something else with you. Let me see if I can find the bibliography. Where's my bibliography? Sorry, a little bit of I'm not sure what this is. Oh, I can't see that. Okay, I don't know.
That one was about reducing anxiety.
Yeah. So we've got there was a study done at Walter Reed by an osteopath, a doctor there, and he said that 20 minutes of stimulation with Alpha-Stim, it increases attention, focus, and concentration while alleviating anxiety. So that's been really big for, believe it or not, we got a lot of people now, students that are studying and trying to increase, that don't want to take something like Ritalin or Adderall and want to increase their ability to focus and concentrate. They're using Alpha-Stim because we got a clinical paper that said that it does help with it. And anxiety is the number one indication for us, and we do really well there because of it's number one. And insomnia. So let's talk about, some people notice a difference in one treatment. They'll say that, we always follow up with patients usually the next day and say, did you notice a difference in your sleep? Did you feel, a lot of people, I worked with a veteran this week. He came in, he was on a scale of 1 to 10. He said his anxiety was about a 6, and he wore the Alpha-Stim for 20 minutes. And we said, how do you feel? Where's your anxiety now? He said, I don't have any. He went to 0. And he said, I haven't felt this relaxed in 20 years. And so that's, it's impressive. It's great to be able to hear those kind of things. Let me say, I don't know why. Let me see if I can show, let's take a second and see if we can show a video. I don't know why it's not coming up. What if I go here? Huh. What if I do this? Okay. Can you see that?
Yes, you see that.
Okay. This is Dakota Meyer. I'll let him speak first.
My name's
So
Dakota
we can't see him. We can see Duck, Duck, Go.
for years.
Oh.
So I
wonder why I can't share this. This is a YouTube video.
Well, we can hear the audio.
Yeah, all right. Well, listen to the
I
audio.
served a couple tours. I went over to Iraq and Afghanistan. I served in Iraq in 2007, and then I also served in Afghanistan. So I received the Medal of Honor because of actions on September 8, 2009. I truly believe that being in Iraq and Afghanistan, or even some of my worst days in Afghanistan, is a lot of times easier than some of my general days here at home. And it's because everything over there is kind of black and white, because you just do your job. I mean, it's a black and white. There's not really much gray area over there. I think when your body can't close the door on something or file something, it has to come out some other way. And so, for me, it's anxiety. So for me, it's, the tightness all over my body, the nonstop mind thinking of starting to, you start, it's just like this downward spiral. I start thinking of problems that could never even be problems. You start looking at everything as to why it's going to become a problem. And then it becomes this overwhelming feeling. I mean, it's like an elephant standing on top of you. Dealt with the anxiety piece for at least 7 years. I mean, I feel like I've tried almost everything, right? I mean, I've tried medication, a lot of it just self-medication, drinking. I mean, trying to trying to do something to just be able to get that relief long enough to be able to get just a little bit of rest somewhere. I made a couple phone calls to people I knew and just said I got to have something, and they recommended this Alpha-Stim to me. I read the directions on it. I opened it up and I put it on, and it was like it just melted the anxiety away. Like I could not believe the relief. How many times have I dealt with anxiety because I didn't want to take the drugs because I had to do something tomorrow or I had to do something today or I had to finish something? How many times have I ate it and sit there and push through the anxiety? I can't just stop life because of this. And that's the thing that I think is so incredible about what Alpha-Stim does is that it allows me to fix my problem without stopping life. I mean, that was always the big problem that I always had why I was so against medication because I mean, I still have to go be on top of my game every single day, whether it's an interview, whether it's, am I going to this event? I mean, do I have to go out on a construction site? Am I having to crunch numbers? Am I having to, turn around or pick my child up from school? Am I, I mean, all this stuff still goes on. Life still goes on. So to be able to have a solution to the problem that will allow me to still be able to go on about my everyday life without any effects that are going to, adversely affect me in doing that is, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I had never talked about anxiety, especially publicly. And that's kind of the whole loop to the whole thing. I mean, I felt so intrigued by this and I felt so much relief by it. If it could help me this much, then, it can help anybody.
Okay, let's stop that. And then let me see if I'll, oh, okay, that popped up over there. Do, 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 do. Anyways, I've got good. Anyways, I'm sorry. Let's come back to here. Yeah. So,
We just saw Dakota.
yeah. So, oh, you did see it. Oh, okay.
Just right now at the end.
Yeah, wow. So, and anything I talk about or anything I share, so we've got a bibliography with 115 clinical papers. Mary, I'm happy to share that with you and anybody else. I'll give you my email if anybody wants to email me. And when you get it, there's all the papers are listed by category. If you want to see an entire clinical paper, if you click on the link, that paper will automatically download to you for free. Our research is so good and so powerful that our competitors use it. So, but we're happy to share that. I'm happy to share the Dakota Meyer video. It's on YouTube and there's other videos on YouTube. If you put in YouTube Alpha-Stim, we have our own channel. There's videos there. We also have now instructional videos on how to use Alpha-Stim on both ear clips and using the probes and trodes that we have. This is where you get the M. This is what trodes look like. This is what a probe looks like. So we've got short videos that talk about how to use them to treat pain in different parts of the body. So anyways, it does help with that. We've also got protocol cards. So there's things that we can provide you and they're free. I'm happy to get people to them. I can email those things to you. I can get them to you, or I can share them with Mary and Mary can have access and share them with you also. Let me see, what does, how often does someone need to use Alpha-Stim to experience success or good results? In the beginning, when the way I was trained is I tell people you want to use it every day, 7 days a week for the first 6 weeks. After that, you can go to a maintenance program. And the other thing is that I get calls all the time. People will say, can I use it more than once a day? Yes. You cannot, Alpha-Stim, you can't OD on it. You can't abuse it. So I especially get calls with work comp patients often because when there's a drop in barometric pressure from a hurricane or weather, their pain will be exacerbated. They'll say, I used it once today. Can I use it again? Yes, you can use it as many times as you want. I've worked with patients that said, wow, I feel so good. Can I wear this all day? I said, you can, but we ask that you not wear it when you operate machinery or an automobile. And, because sometimes people will notice it does affect your equilibrium and your balance a little bit. So we ask that when you do wear Alpha-Stim, when you use it, you should be seated and you should remain seated while you're using it until you get used to it. Um, is it covered by insurance? No, it's currently not covered by insurance. Many good solutions out there are not. So we're working on it. We're making good progress. We do take FSA and HSA accounts, so flexible spending accounts and health savings accounts. We readily accept those. We take credit card. We do have a financing option. If somebody needs financing, we can get you approved pretty quickly if someone wants to finance it. I don't know. Mary, where do you
I
want me to
think
go
we're
from?
starting to have questions now.
Okay.
We have one from Michelle that says, can this take place of InterStim implant for pudendal nerve entrapment?
So if you have another medical device that's in your body, usually most people get a remote control. So the contraindications are pregnancy, pacemaker, and a cochlear implant, which is used for hearing. Those are the only contraindications. But if you get a stimulator that's implanted, it has to be turned off. And most people, they get a remote control, they can turn that off because we don't want competing signals in the body at the same time. We want one or the other. I have worked with people that had those stimulators, and some of them either the device ran out of juice or whatever. And I've worked with patients that then went to an Alpha-Stim. The benefit of Alpha-Stim is it costs less and it's non-invasive, as opposed to being, those procedures are expensive and those devices are invasive. And so there can be complications later on because they get embedded in the body and tissue grows around them. But so you would want to turn the other device off. If you cannot turn the other device off for whatever reason, that would be a contraindication. You would not want to use Alpha-Stim at the same time.
Okay, you guys can chime in if you want to, but Carmela says, can this help occipital neuralgia?
We've got some clinical papers on fibrom. Well, she said some other kind of neuralgia.
Occipital.
I'm not sure what occipital is. Brain, correct? It's a
I think
occipital
it's
bone.
eye. Carmela, can you chime in? Carmela?
It can be used.
Sorry, hold up.
Go ahead.
So at the base, you have the occipital nerves at the base of your skull. So they get aggravated, irritated, and can lead to migraine headaches. So currently, neurology has me taking Topamax, which helps supposedly calm those nerves. But the side effects are not good because it's used for other things other than migraines. So it's really not good. But anyway, that's
So good question. So yes, you can use it for headaches, and it sounds like this is a headache that's coming from the occipital nerve. So, and because once the Alpha-Stim gets into the brain, we know it goes everywhere. But we have almost 100% success rate with headaches. So the important thing is to use it on a low intensity, and you wear it until the headache is completely gone. I've sat with and worked with both men and women that had migraine headaches. And I remember one gentleman, he was a former Marine. We knocked his out in about 53 minutes. And then I worked with a woman recently, a clinician, whose husband was also a clinician. I met with them to demo Alpha-Stim. She had one. She said, I have one starting. And she pointed at the occipital bone. She said, it's starting right now. I can feel it. We put the Alpha-Stim on her, continued to do the presentation. In about less than 40 minutes, she told me that her headache was completely gone.
well, that's good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it will work. We've got data on that, and I've got a couple of clinical papers on fibroneuralgia that I can send you from our bibliography. So The other thing is Alpha-Stim always potentiates medication. So if you're on medication, it's going to make it more effective. So the reason we say that is because a lower dose might suffice. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a clinician, and I'm not a pharmacist. So
Understood. You can look, and then I believe his father before him.
Sorry about that.
no worries. So, anyways, if you need to know that it does potentiate medication. People ask me, what about, Advil or aspirin? Yes, it'll make it more effective. So, you know, those are things that you need to be aware of, and that come with Alpha-Stim.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Carmela.
We have another question. It says, has any studies been done with dysautonomia? This person has POTS and has been using it and has worked wonders for them.
I don't know of any. That's not to say that they haven't been done, but I don't know of any.
Okay. Another question is, does it help with peripheral neuropathy?
So we do use Alpha-Stim for neuropathy in like the lower extremities. And so the secret is we've got on the protocol card. So you can use the trodes. These look like electrodes that you would use with a TENS device, TENS being transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation. You put them on the bottom of the feet. And the reason is, you get wires that attach to the Alpha-Stim and then attach to the trodes. So you put one on each foot. It runs the current all the way up the leg, through the low back, down the other leg to complete the circuit. So I actually, I've worked with people that have neuropathy in their lower extremities and have used Alpha-Stim. You want to use it on the legs, and then when you're done with that, you would use it on the ear clips also. And the reason for that is, our philosophy is we want to treat the entire body, and this is the main computer. So Alpha-Stim is one of the few devices, very few devices on the marketplace that we compete with that are authorized or cleared by the FDA to treat the brain. And that was, as you might well admit, realize that was not easy to achieve, but especially 29 years ago. But we've been doing it for 29 years, have millions and millions of cases out there with dramatic success. And like Mary and I were talking earlier, many of the people I can't talk about because of HIPAA. People have to give us releases, and you still got to be careful about mentioning anybody by name or anybody specifically. So, but yes, it has helped with neuropathy in the extremities.
Any other questions?
I'll get better at sharing some of the other things I wanted to share, like the bibliography, because let me see if I can do it one more time, because I don't know where it is. What happens if I do this? Can I?
What if you close that browser and then try to do it? Sometimes that works for me.
Yeah, you might be right. So yeah, that was, yeah. So let me see if I come back here. I'm sorry, Mary.
That's okay. You can share the information with me.
Yeah, I'm happy to send it.
Replay.
Yeah, I'm happy to send it back to you, and let me give everyone my email. So if anybody has
Sure.
any questions, there is something else I want to cover too. My email is pboyle, Boyle, at EPII. So it's Echo Papa Indigo.com. So pboyle at EPII.com. You can email me, and anything that I've said, anything I made reference to, I've got it all digitally. I'm happy to share it back with you. The other thing is this is really important, is that sometimes with the ear clips, because there's springs in these ear clips, and the conducting solution does have saline and minerals in it that help conduct across the skin. If ear clips sometimes will fail, or you can even have the spring will break in the ear clips. In my territory, if anybody has problem with ear clips and they communicate that to me, say, listen, my ear clips aren't working, or I think I got a problem with my ear clips, If you just make me aware of it, I've got a Federal Express account. I'll deliver them to you if I can, but if I can't, I'll put them in a Federal Express envelope and overnight them to you, so you'll get replacement ear clips. That's not a company policy. That's something that I do. I believe it's important for people to have ear clips that work. And so it's something that I do for my customers in my territory. It's something that I've been talking about for a long time. So if anybody ever has problems with ear clips, or the Alpha-Stim, it comes with a 5-year warranty. I've got to go see a gentleman later today who's having problems with his aid, and I'll troubleshoot it. If we can't fix it, I'll give him a loaner and I'll send that one back. It'll get fixed or replaced for free for 5 years, and we will shoot that back to him, at which time I'll pick up the loaner. So if you have any problems with the Alpha-Stim, you got a 5-year warranty. We've got clinical and technical support at corporate. Um, the corporate number, if you want it, and it's on my business card and it's on most of any documentation from Alpha-Stim. It's 1-800-367-7246. Just ask for tech support or ask for customer support. And we've got clinical people there. We've got a medical director that's a PhD out of the University of Miami. Dr. Gober is our current medical director. So we've got clinicians and people on board at corporate that can help you if I'm not available. I got a big territory. I do spend a lot of time traveling.
And we have one last question. Basically, I can probably answer this. It says, is this a device you have to purchase? Yes and no. You can rent it through our office. If you're at Embark, you get 2 weeks free. After that, we rent it in 2-week increments. Different rates depend on how long. And we ask you to come into our office to do a test on it first to see how it works with you.
Yeah, because we want people to understand how to use it. The one thing I like saying in all my presentations is Alpha-Stim works. Do you? You got to take it out of the packaging and you've got to put the ear clips on and you got to put the conducting solution on and you got to put it on and you have to wear it. And you have to do that repeatedly. The other thing is Alpha-Stim is cumulative. So the more you use it, the results get better and better and better over time. So, I mean, I've been using it myself for 10 years and I still use it. Not only do I sell it, I use it because I firmly believe you get a really good night's sleep without any side effects or without, other things like, some of the other pharmaceuticals that are out there. So it's, there's nothing more important. Most healthcare professionals will tell you there's nothing more important than good sleep. You have to get into deep sleep. We know that when you get into deep sleep, it's called the I can't think of the exact word, but in deep sleep, the brain cleans beta amyloid plaque and other things out of the brain. But if you're not getting into deep sleep, that doesn't happen. So deep sleep, and a lot of times now people will track deep sleeps on these watches that are out. They'll track the difference between deep and REM sleep. You cycle in and out of both every night. But getting more deep sleep is incredibly beneficial for everybody and your entire system, your entire brain, your entire body. It's really, really important that you get good sleep, and we believe that we help with that.
Well, Pat, thank you so much. I don't know if we have any more questions. If we don't, we appreciate all the great information. And if I get anything extra emailed to me, I will forward on the questions to you and you can give us an answer.
Great. Yeah, I'm here for you. If anybody needs anything. Also, let me leave in my cell number also. If you need me, my cell number is area code 303-902-2160. You can text or call me. And if you're having a problem with something or you need something or you need just want to ask a question, shoot me a text or you can give me a call. If I can't answer you, I'll try to get back to you. I try to answer all calls within 24 hours or as quick as I can. But here to support you. We want you to be as successful as I've seen so many other people be with Alpha-Stim. It's a phenomenal product. It's helped tremendous amounts of people. I did have one other thing that was on the list. It talked about Is it safe for all ages? We did have a policy change on that. We used
Okay.
to say that you could use it for, the new policy changes, you're supposed to be above 18 years of age. Uh, and we didn't get, I don't know why. I don't know why that changed, but yeah, so 18 years of age, and but it does help with attention, interest, conviction, concentration while alleviating anxiety. And I've had plenty of people tell me that. I've had clinicians tell me that I used it with my own prosthodontist, and he bought one, and when I did an in-service for he and his staff, he stopped me in the middle and said that he suffers from brain fog. And the day that I demoed this to him, he said his ability to focus increased dramatically. So I've had him and other people say that to me. So, and then I have plenty of people that say, hey, it really helps with sleep. Having said that, there are people that we've worked with that it does take sometimes 2 or 3 weeks for that to kick in. And it has to do with their physiology, what's going on in their body, if they're on medication. There's all kinds of factors. But if you stay with it, if you use it long enough and use it correctly, I believe Alpha-Stim will work for 90% of the people that try it.
So great. Great information. Thank you very much for your time. And everyone, next week's open office hours is going to be about pain is not a life sentence. And we're going to have another guest speaker. So
Great. Thank you, Mary Stewart.
have a great week, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.